an RN to BSN student from Murray State, and I'm going to be teaching you guys how to do a self-breast exam. So, according to breastcancer.org, breast cancer in women is one of the leading causes of death. So, once a month, it is very important to check your breast to make sure that you don't have any changes like dimpling or size or mass or bumps or lumps. So, I brought some balloons, pink for breast cancer. And these will kind of be a demonstration on how to examine the breast. So you'll lie it down, and I'm just letting you feel it, but we'll actually do it. There's 3 ways. The first thing you're going to do is you're always going to inspect. So you can stand in front of a mirror, and you're going to have your hands back. So go ahead and put your hands back, and stripping. And you're going to, you're just going to look for any asymmetrical changes. So you know your breast better than anyone else. You know that one might be a little larger than the other, and that's normal. But you'll want to look at your areola and make sure that there's no color or discoloration that is different. And you'll also want to look and see if there's any redness or dimpling or swelling that is apparent, or even lumps that you've not had before. While you do this, you'll also want to see if there's any discharge that comes out. If so, that is something that you should look into immediately. Also, after that, you can put your hands, one hand behind your back and one hand above your head, or behind your head. You will take the opposite hand, and you're going to reach over, and in a circular motion, starting in the middle, you're going to go all the way around and press pretty firmly to see if there's any lumps or redness, soreness, or bumps. And you're going to go all the way up into your armpit and back down. And you will do that on both sides. So you'll just want to make sure that you start in the middle. You can also go circular, or you can go vertical and actually horizontal, and go back and forth and make sure you go up. So good. Well, before you do that, you'll also inspect just to make sure that you don't have any discharge that comes out as well. There's the third way that you can do it, and that is lying down on a pillow. So would one like to demonstrate?
I can lay on the table.
Okay.
I'm short enough.
So you'll just want to lie down.
My feet are dirty.
That's okay. And you'll put one hand back, and you will do this on both sides. So I don't know if I said earlier, but you always use the opposite hand for the opposite breast, and then you will switch and go back to the other. And you will start in the middle, go in a circular motion. Very good. And then go up, and that is just seeing if you have any dimpling, any masses, lumps, bumps, any swelling that you need to know. This also gets you familiar with your breast if you do it monthly, so that when you go to the doctor, you will know that if there's something. This should never, ever replace a doctor's exam. Those are very important, and they should never replace a mammogram. Those 2 things should always be done, even if you are. It's just important to be self-aware. Okay, you can get off. Do you need some help? Thank you. Okay. So, the best time to do a breast self-exam is 1 to 2 weeks after your period when you ovulate, and it's best to do it in the shower, and sometimes the water helps just relax you and gives you that kind of like a lubricant to help just move along and help feel if there is any abnormal changes or lumps. I did bring a few pamphlets for you, guys. This kind of right here shows, if you have larger breasts, sometimes you'll have to hold them up and kind of go around. So this gives you an example of proper, you want to use the palm or the fingertips and go around. There's the ABCs of breast health, and it says all women should have breast self-exams at least once a month. They just, help you be familiar with yourself. It says that the B is breast self-exam. You can do it in 3 ways, which we talked about. In the shower, in front of a mirror, or lying down. And then C is always contact your health provider if you feel like you have any concerns. So I printed those out for you. And then I also have a little breast self-exam test that it's just a reminder of when to do it and what motion that you would do it in. And that will just help you remember, and then it shows that you've learned something from me. And so these right here are your... Okay. What questions do you have?
What if I find a lump?
Okay, if you find a lump, then you're definitely going to contact your provider immediately. Even if it's nothing, it's better to contact them to be safe, and they're going to look into it furthermore. And that's the reason you're doing these. Or if you find it, you can detect maybe if it is cancerous, you're getting it where it's early and not late.
I usually feel like a whole bunch of little lumps.
And that's normal. The rigid feeling, like the rigidness, that's a normal. And that's also another reason it's important to do it once a month or so, every time you're in the shower or something, because that gets you familiar to what is normal in comparison to what's not.
You know the recommendations for mammograms?
I think above 40 to 50 years old now. So, yeah. I would definitely, each provider is a little different, so I would definitely contact your provider and see what they want. And also, if you have a history of breast cancer that runs in your family or something, it might be earlier. Yeah. Any other questions?
Does it make a difference if you're breastfeeding or not? Do you know anything about that?
If you're breastfeeding, you're obviously going to have some leaking. You're still going to want to do it, but you just know that the discharge that is out is probably going to be your breast milk. And so, and then you can also get some, lumps when you're breastfeeding. So if you felt anything while you're breastfeeding that was abnormal from before, I would go ahead and go to your provider and get that checked too. Yeah. Okay, any other questions? And then, so on the balloons, this is just kind of a demonstration of, like, you can use your, but there's no lumps and they feel, but, so if there was one on a balloon, it would feel different and you would know. So that's how it is when you get comfortable with yourself. You would know, hey, it doesn't feel like that balloon that I was feeling. Let me go. So that's kind of a demonstration.
Sure.
All right.